27th of Hearthfire, 4th Era, 202. I woke in a cold sweat. From the bed, I could see the mannequin I'd placed the mask of Dagoth Ur on, and it was clear that it hadn't moved at all. I got up to check it, and it wasn't bleeding either. A dream, only a dream. I thought that as long as I didn't put heartstones inside it, nothing would happen. It needed power to do whatever it had done, and it would get no more from me. Everything will be all right. I just need to be careful. I will not even say his name. This will all go away. I did not feel the urge to carry the mask with me when I left the house, but I was still keenly aware of it, no matter how far I roamed. 13th of Frostfall, 4th Era, 202. There was a sudden wave of ash spawn attacks, when before they had been quiet. In exchange for a guard's wages and some free meals, I offered to help, so that is what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. It's been absolutely exhausting. Constant checking in with the guards and no opportunity to really think overlong on anything else unusual. If not from my dreams, this is where I thrive, in situations where what needs to be done is straightforward, where there is no room for doubt. The first dream came and went once. I could still remember it, but then a new one began to appear. That tall figure, him, did not lead me about as he had in the first. He looked at me directly, then greeted me and said, "There are many rooms in the house of the Master. Be easy, for from the hands of your enemies I have delivered you." Then I thought perhaps I had died. I saw myself on a table with candles around it. Curious, I touched the hand of the body. It opened its eyes, my eyes, and got up from the table. Then suddenly that room of the dead was gone. But there was one thing more, one thing I forgot until I was writing this. The bell ringing. It was a deep sound, as if the bell in question was large, and it echoed in my ears as I awoke. Another wave of attacks had started. I brushed off the lingering discomfort and went for my sword. No time for doubt. No time for whatever was happening here. I can't afford the leisure time for sitting and thinking overlong about this. Not when Raven Rock is under attack. But perhaps I can write my mother. She's gone home to the Ashlands, so it would take time, but I remember the wise woman of the tribe well enough. She has interpreted many a dream for others, so perhaps she can help me here. 17th of Frostfall, 4th Era, 202. The same dream again last night. The ringing bells toned off distantly, but I could always hear them there. This time, I did not wake up, however, but passed on to another few dreams. Ones of my childhood, little memories that made me feel safe and happy. And yet, with each one, I could feel a little jolt of emotion not my own. Going to visit grandmother in the Urshilaku tribe? Smug satisfaction. Traveling with the Khajiit caravan? Disgust. Special attention seemed to be paid to one particular memory, the day I first tried skooma. It was an accident. One of the Khajiit had fallen asleep and left his bottle on the ground. I drank the last few sips, and there was a bit of a panic when that was discovered. But then they noticed that I was sitting quietly and weaving a blanket. I remember it clearly, always, because it was the first time the rushing river in my head turned to calm stillness. I was able to finish my work without once getting bored or sidetracked. I was focused intensely, and it was glorious. I've never stopped doing what the Khajiit calls small-dosing skooma since then. The emotion the strange presence brought here was at first curiosity. Then there was a sensation that watching this had pleased it. And in a constant song I could never make out in the background, the toned bells still played. 21st of Frostfall, 4th Era, 202. Managed to get a courier to send a letter off to my mother today. Hopefully I can receive an answer within a few weeks. Though it will probably be more like a few months at best, with things the way they have been. The ash spawn attacks have begun to calm down just a bit, but I am still being paid to keep watch with the rest of the Raven Rock Guard. Give me a directive and point me to it. I tell Captain Veleth. I would rather follow orders than give them. 30th of Frostfall, 4th Era, 202. The first dream returned, and with it those low-toned bells. Fear filled every fiber of my being, and yet I knew it would pass. But when it did, it was to a black void. From the abyss, a blood-stained hand emerged, followed soon by the rest of him. He extended it to me, expecting me to take his hand. Come, Sadrith, come, and you will never know fear again. I backed away, but I could only take small steps, and with everyone, he only seemed to move closer.